If we store data, law enforcement will not be able to process it. So what do? We'll probably even have to build systems to deliver data in a way they can work with it. It is interesting to note that states want something they cannot afford. We have that in Germany already today with legal interception. For over a year now, we don't have any financial regulations on this, because whatever was put on the table was refused by the states, because they say, oh no, this is too expensive, we cannot pay for this. I don't know, I was brought up in a way that whatever I want, I need to be able to pay for it. It is disproportionate from my point of view under the human rights measure, but for this we have to wait for the courts now. The states decided on it, the parliament decided on it. We'll have to see what the courts will make of it. But as I said before, the basic principle of police work is overturned, and that impacts your rights. Everybody is now under investigation all the time. That's the sad conclusion. Right, questions?
Well, works. Well, I have first a comment and then a question. The first thing is, you at times insinuated that the goals that are supposed to be achieved by those measures are legitimate. And I think this is one of the core issues in arguing with these people. Most of these goals aren't legitimate. An open society has to pay a price for its openness, and it has to, at some point, decide we want to pay that price. And there is no, I mean, if you aren't clear on the point that there is a price for an open society, you've already lost your argument. Because in the end, of course, you can always close the society a bit more down and avoid a bit more crime. So that's one point. An open society has its costs, and this has to be very clear. And if they don't want an open society, they should say so. And the other question, well, we've now seen that the whole thing probably doesn't even do what the proponents hope it will. So you appear to think that it's mainly incompetence. So these people simply don't know what they're doing. Or could there be other reasons involved there that are not too obvious?
Catch your drift, yeah. Okay, let me first, on your first point, I'd like to comment on this as well. I have to say, why they want to do it, I do think that is really legitimate. That's not the point. It's just the wrong thing to do. I'm personally, for example, I'm not willing to accept these limitations to my privacy rights. The principal idea that law enforcement should be able, if they have a starting point through some other means, they should be able to put something together. For example, the IP username mappings. I think that is very legitimate. Do you have a right to stay anonymous in the internet? That's an interesting separate discussion, but if, for example, through eBay they have some logs, or through some servers they have IP logs, one should be able to map this to a user who actually did this. That is just in the telephone network. You have that forever. You don't even question it that your number is attributable to a person. Does that mean that that they should be able to store all the communications taking part over that? No, I don't think that is legitimate. They would need to find another source, for example, the server, the e-commerce server where things happened, as a source for the actual communication, and then through the IP logs you can trace it back to the person who did it. That would be legitimate. Data retention, as we have it here, I don't think is legitimate either. For the reasons, I have to say from my experience, in the interior ministries, there's really a lot of incompetence. They think old world telecommunications. And on this, they have demands. It's easy to come up with a demand. Oh, we want simply, all we want normally in an investigation is ask for this and that data. Why don't we save it up front so we have it for everyone in the future? But by definition, I mean, if you look at the demands of the interior ministries, it always goes the same way. Why are we talking that Schilly, for example, all of a sudden is kind of like right wing, or Schäuble now is even worse? That it just happens that the security concerns, when you're responsible for the security concerns, you have a paradigm shift. I mean, you're kind of like looking, oh, if I have everything, I can help secure the state or something like that. So there might be more behind it, you never know, but it's just, they're trying out, they're starting from their maximum perspective, and we're starting by saying, okay, we don't want this. It's a compromise process. Right now, we can argue that we have lost this, and because we have data retention now, but if you're looking at where they started and what is actually to be stored today, there's a huge difference. I personally feel that we achieved quite a bit, so that only, I have to say, data on email and telephone calls, more or less, and for telephone calls you had it before, needs to be stored. I'm quite happy that we don't have storage of web traffic, of peer-to-peer traffic, of chat, things like that. I think that's a good achievement. Does that answer your question? Sorry? Any more questions? Okay, then thank you for your attention. And yeah. I think we have a little workshop this afternoon sometime where we go into lobbying a little bit more. So who's interested in that, you can join us. I'm not really sure where this is set up right now, but it's supposed to be at 3 or something like that. Good, yeah.